The St. Augustine Lighthouse is famous for its breathtaking views, but at night, it's a different story. Some say the ghost of a former keeper still roams the tower, forever watching over his domain. I visited one evening as part of a ghost tour. As we climbed the narrow, winding staircase, I felt an overwhelming sense of unease. The air grew thick, suffocating. Then, halfway up, the distinct sound of heavy boots echoed above us, yet no one was there. My stomach knotted as I turned to my friend, who was just as pale as I was. When we reached the top, I stepped onto the platform and peered out over the ocean. A sudden gust of wind nearly knocked me off balance. Then I heard it, low and deep, a voice whispering right into my ear, "Mind your step." I spun around, but I was completely alone. Later, I learned the story of the keeper who fell to his death from that very spot. Some say he still warns visitors, so they don't share his fate. There's a stretch of Interstate 4 known as the Dead Zone, a place where cell service drops, radios go static, and worst of all, spirits roam. I was driving late one night, the road eerily empty. That's when I saw her, a woman standing on the shoulder, her pale face illuminated by my headlights. She lifted a thumb, signaling for a ride. Against my better judgment, I slowed down, but the moment I blinked, she vanished. My heart pounded as I sped away. Then my car radio crackled to life with a burst of static. A whisper, soft, almost pleading, filled the car. "Help me." I swerved, barely keeping control. When I reached a gas station, I asked the attendant if anyone else had seen her. He only shook his head and muttered, "You saw the ghost, didn't you?" Turns out she's been appearing for decades, a lost soul forever wandering the highway. Miami's Biltmore Hotel is a beautiful landmark, but behind its luxurious facade lies something truly terrifying. During its time as a makeshift hospital in World War II, countless lives were lost, and some spirits never checked out. I stayed there for a wedding and was given a room on the supposedly haunted 13th floor. The moment I stepped inside, I felt it, an oppressive weight in the air. That night, as I lay in bed, the temperature in the room dropped suddenly. Then the bathroom light flickered on by itself. A shadow moved in the corner. My breath caught in my throat as a figure emerged from the darkness, a man in a tattered suit, his eyes hollow. He took a step forward and a choking pressure filled my chest. I scrambled for the lamp, flipping it on, and he was gone. I left the hotel first thing in the morning. Later I discovered the legend of a mobster who was murdered in that very room. Some say he's still looking for revenge. Cassadaga, Florida is known as the psychic capital of the world, but not all spirits here are friendly. One of the town's oldest houses is said to be haunted by a woman who met a tragic end. I was walking past late one evening when I heard it, a soft, sorrowful weeping. I turned toward the house, its windows dark and empty. Then, out of the corner of my eye, I saw her. A woman in a flowing white dress stood just beyond the gate, her face hidden in her hands. I called out, but she didn't move. My skin prickled as a cold breeze rushed past me. When I looked again, she was gone. The air was silent. The next morning I asked a local about the house. She sighed and said, "You saw her, didn't you? She's been crying for over 100 years. They say she lost her husband in a terrible accident, and her grief keeps her bound to this world." Florida's beauty masks a darker reality. From ghostly warnings to spirits that refuse to rest, the past lingers in the shadows. If you ever find yourself alone on a dark road, an old hotel, or a quiet town, listen closely. You might not be alone. If these stories gave you chills, be sure to like and subscribe for more terrifying tales. And tell me, have you ever had a ghostly encounter? Share your story in the comments below. Until next time, keep your lights on.